video. Uh, we're all in this unusual, unique situation together of having social distancing, of having shutdowns and lock-ins, and we're all supposed to stay home, shelter in place. So for most of you who watch my videos, I'm aware that that just means not much difference. You just stay home instead of going to work. But a lot of you are wondering, how does that impact nomads? This quarantine, the isolation, how is that impacting nomads? So I wanted to make this video to answer your questions to the best of my ability, and let you know how you can cope with it better. I can't help you if you're in a house. I don't really, I don't live in houses. I haven't lived in a house for a very long time. But I can tell you about living on the road as a nomad. So that's what I'm going to tell you about. I've been doing live updates, and on my live updates, I've answered some of these questions already, so there'll be a repetition. But I know a lot of you don't watch the live updates, and I'm hoping this video will get out to more of you. So let me just go over some of the questions I've been getting in, and I think maybe on your mind. Question number one is, um, how am I being impacted by this? Am I doing okay? Am I staying safe? Bob, you got to take care of yourself. So be sure you're taking care of yourself. And I believe I am. I believe I'm taking care of myself just about as well as I can. I'll go up here on the roof and show you some video around me. I am in the middle of nowhere. There is no one around me. I'm just outside of a town, and there's a town right over there, about 4 miles away. But and anyone can drive up here, but no one has. I've had probably in the last week 2 or 3 ATVs drive by, and none have been anywhere near my camp. I'm still a good distance off even that ATV trail. So I am here alone. I mean, there's not a human being around me for a mile, at least 2, 3 miles. I think there's not a human within 3 miles of where I camped. And I don't ever see them even then. They're much too far away. So, and so for a lot of you, one of your big questions is, Bob, how are you coping with the loneliness? What you have to understand about that is that for some people, there's anxiety in being alone. And for other people, there's an anxiety in being in crowds and around other people. And I am one of those people for whom there is anxiety in groups. My anxiety disappears when I'm here alone in the middle of the desert. I wake up, I step out of the camp, and I look around, and there's no one around. Anxiety and stress falls off me like a load when I do that. And it's just been taking a lot of practice and skill on my part to be able to cope with having so many people around. It's just really taken a lot of growth and practice. And now for me, this is fantastic. I'm required to be out here alone. I could be camping with other people, but if I'm going to take the chance, if I'm going to be forced into this suffering that I'm going through of being out here alone, I'm going to do it to the best, whatever makes me feel really good. And being out here completely alone by myself is what makes me feel really good. So for me, this is a great time. I have plenty of food. The local Walmart. I'm near a town with a Walmart and 2 other grocery stores, and the shelves are pretty low. There's no doubt about it. But I have never gone in and wanted something and not been able to get it. A couple of times I got the last one on the shelf. I thought, wow, this is really amazing. I literally got the last one on the shelf, but it worked really, really well. And I am stocked to the gills with food. I am stocked to the gills with water. I have a good 2 weeks of water. That's about all I can carry. But I'm in the desert Southwest. You can see this is desert around me. And there's no shortage of water here. All across the desert Southwest, every small town has water kiosk machines. And so I can just go in town and buy 5 gallons for $1. So water will not be an issue. And I don't have to see another human being. I don't have to talk to another human being. As of right now, it's March 27th, actually today. And there's no shutdown on food stores or gas. If I need gas, I can stop and get gas. I don't, I can pay outside. I'll never see another human being. I can get water. I will run out of food in about a month, and then I will have to definitely go into the stores. I'll run out of fresh foods. I've been running on my fresh foods for about a week, not quite a week, probably 3, 4 days now, 5 days. and I've got another 5 days to go, and then I'm just going to be out of fresh foods. But I got plenty of canned goods, processed goods, foods I can make here in camp. So that's not going. Food is not an issue for at least a month, and I don't think it's going to be an issue. The Walmart is still open. The grocery stores are still open. It's a little risky going into one, but if you're careful and you maintain your distance to everyone thing and don't touch your face, and fortunately, I do have hand sanitizer, so I am set. In fact, I am thriving. This is a great time for me. But I am aware that for a lot of you for whom being alone is creates anxiety, this is not a good time for you. But for me, it's great. It really is just the best of all possible times. So that's the question. That's the answer to that. So another question that I've heard from people is that they're lonely, and how are they going to cope with their loneliness? If you're in a house, maybe you've never been forced to be alone for this long anymore, and even if you're out as a nomad, perhaps you haven't been in the situation where you had to be alone for this long, and it creates this loneliness and concern in you. And loneliness is one of those things. I can't give you a 5 steps to not being lonely anymore. I will tell you that in my mind, loneliness is an inside job, and it tells me that there's a lack in your life that you have to fill it with people being around you. Human beings are designed to be around other people. That's just the way evolution has worked in our lives. So there's no question that it's normal for you to want to be around other people. But if you can't be without other people for more than a day or two or three or four, that tells me that maybe there may be something in your heart that you need to look at and see if you can't figure out what's going on. A person should be able to cope with being alone for a week or two or three, I think, without any problem, if they're emotionally healthy. So what's going on in you that is keeping you from being emotionally healthy? And for the most part, it's fear. There's a fear in your life that you use other people to fill that fear and to fill the gap in your life. There's a hole in your life and you're filling it with other people. And so what is that hole? What is it that's missing in your life that you're not having? So what is the gap in your life? What's missing? You're using other people to fill that hole so you don't have to address it. I don't know, and there's no way I can know. It's a matter of self-examination for you. And I would treat this time like an opportunity for self-examination. And you still have the internet, and as far as I know it, as of right now, Amazon's still in business. If you have Kindle or if you have Audible books, I would strongly suggest you look into books on loneliness and fear of being alone, and start to do some internal searching about what's going on, how you can overcome loneliness. I can tell you this, that in my own life, and I'm not speaking for anyone else but myself, that's all I can speak for. In my own life, um, loneliness stopped being an issue when I settled the issue of the sacred. But if you figure out your relationship with the universe, and that you're never alone, and that you are safe, and that the universe is friendly and taking care of you, and however you define the sacred, whether it's the universe or it's God or it's Allah or Jesus, or whatever, Yahweh, whatever the sacred means to you, and it means something different to nearly all of us. I'm not passing any judgment on you at all on that. A right relationship with the sacred, so that is usually will fill the holes and the gaps that we have to use other people to fill. And so I would really think a lot about looking into that. But at any rate, I'd go find some good books on Amazon, download them to your Kindle. You don't even have to wait for them to be delivered. If you don't have a Kindle account with Amazon, you got a smartphone, you got a tablet, you got a computer, you can get a free app and then just download them and just hit play and you can listen to them. And so I would say this is a time for researching for you. That's going to fill the days, it's going to pass them. Be really honest with yourself when you do that self-examination. Start to see, when are you most lonely? Why are you lonely? Should you be lonely? I mean, of course, you're going to be lonely. I mean, if you go very long, any of us go very long without people, we're going to be lonely. That's normal. Loneliness is normal and healthy. Don't feel bad because you're lonely. So just like I've been telling you, the fact that I'm this introvert and prefer to be alone, that leads right into the next question that I get a lot of. And for those of you who are not introverts, who are extroverts, who love having people around and kind of need to have people around, your question is, how do I deal with my loneliness? And let me just say, first and foremost, that being lonely in a time like this for humans is completely normal and natural and reasonable. Um, Humans are evolved to be in a tribe. In fact, our extremely alienated culture um, is very unhealthy for us as humans. We need to be connected to other human beings, one to one, face to face. And so you need that, and we all need that. And so don't feel bad at all about that, that you're lonely and you're wondering how to deal with it. But if it's too much, if you can't even go a week or so without really a week. I mean, we're not even really, most of us aren't into a week yet, or we're just getting there. Uh, then the question becomes, are you so lonely, and is it such a big deal? I mean, if it's just normal loneliness, then that's nothing at all to be, that's just normal. We're humans, we're designed to be around people. But if this has become a real difficult for you, and you cannot stand being alone, then that implies to me that there may be some work that you need to do. And this may be a perfect opportunity for you to do some of that work, to give some thought to why you're so lonely and why you need to fill your time with other people. And a lot of times it's because we can't cope with being alone in our own skin, with our own thoughts, with our own heart and our mind. And we're faced with our feelings and our thoughts and our fears, and the loneliness is just a focus point of that. I'm afraid. Uh, I'm I need someone else around me to make me feel better right now. If that's the case, then this is a good time for you to start addressing that, because you should be able to be alone in your own skin with your own thoughts, with your own hearts and your own feelings, and be able to be okay with that. Not ideal, but okay. And if you can't, that's a red flag. That's a worry. Why can't I cope with loneliness any better than I am? And I'm not going to give you 5 easy steps to not being lonely, or 7 diagnosis tools to no longer to find all the reasons why you can't be alone in your life. I don't have those things. I don't know any of them at all. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you have a smartphone, if you have a tablet, if you have a laptop, go to Amazon.com. As far as I know, they're still open and for business, and get the Kindle app and download some books on loneliness. And some of them will be great and some of them will be poor. I don't know. You'll just have to experiment with it and find out. Find the good ones and weed through the bad ones. And some might be, will work and some won't. You'll just have to deal with them all and find out. But you can get some really cheap ones, and even if you pay a little bit for them, it's worth it. You've got all this time to kill on your hands, and you really would like to deal with this loneliness in your heart, in your life, in your mind. And so I really suggest that. Get some self-help books. Do a search. Why am I so lonely? What can I do about being so lonely? Just do a Google search, and you'll find a lot of ways to overcome your loneliness. You really should be able to be alone for a day or two or a week or two, and it not be a problem. If it is, that's a red flag. And maybe it's not. Maybe it's just perfectly normal, and it's all normal. Being lonely is normal. If it's more than just average loneliness, then that is a red flag, and I'd be concerned about that. So that's a way to do it. Go to Amazon, uh, uh, search Kindle books, do a Google search. There's lots of self-help groups. And then the next question we'll answer is, well, I want to connect with others. And of course you do. It's normal for humans to want to connect. That's normal and healthy. How can I connect with other people? And so that'll be the next question and answer. I'll address that right now.